Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Stampin' Chat Live. Now, today's live is actually a premiere, and Tom and I will be chatting live in the comments with you today. Well, it's great to see all of you here joining us from all around the world. Today, I'm going to do a video that you guys have been asking me to do for a while. I've had lots of requests to pick a Master Layouts die set and do a card using that die set and create a unique type of layout. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to be using Master Layouts 4, which is one of my favorites, and it's a great add-on Master Layout set after you have either 1 or 2 and you're making regular A2 cards. This one will make A2 cards as well, and it's perfect for our upcoming Valentine's Day, and also for wedding cards or anytime you want to send a little love to somebody. But before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Happy crafternoon, everybody.
How are you doing?
From the dead space.
You're in the dead space. I'm in the bright space.
Better than horrible.
Well, are you ready for today's premiere?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm sure you're already saying hello in the comments, so I kind of have the feeling.
Yeah, in our alternate parallel universes here.
Yeah.
Appropriate for the times.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm going to get started on today's card, and then maybe you'll have a word of the day,
Maybe I'll have a word of the day.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, well, let me show you the die set that I'm going to be focusing on today. This is the Master Layouts 4 die set. Let me pull this out. Now, all of our master die sets come in a package like this, and then in this little insert. So you can keep the insert to kind of remember what the different pieces are that are inside. I also have a full set here that's open, and that's what I'm going to be using today. Now, the dies I'm going to use today are this scalloped rectangle die, and then I'm also going to be using this heart, and then I don't know how this one escaped, but I'm going to be using this heart that goes with it. Now this creates that little shadow layer that we all love so much, and it really finishes things off. So I'm going to be using these 3 dies from the set today. I don't think I'm going to be using any of the other ones. However, if I was going to be doing any sentiment strips for this one, I definitely love the sentiment strip dies that come in this set because they have those cute little flags on the end. And unlike our regular sentiment strips dies that are just straight, this just gives it a little extra character in there, and I love the way that looks. Plus, if you have some big chonky kind of greetings, chonk kind of greetings, you have these flags, which also have the shadow layer, and I love that. Then it's got a little tiny flag down here. Let's see, what else is in here? I don't think, is this little flag? This little flag might have escaped and became part of it. I don't think that one is part of it. I think these are what is part of it. This postage stamp, and then these 3 really cute buttons. And what I like about these is you can make your own buttons out of foil or out of wood graining or whatever you want, and then you can cut some blank ones and stack them up so they become kind of thick like a regular button. So there's a stitched one with 4 holes, there's a plain one with 2 holes, and then there's a heart one that kind of coordinates with this heart. So lots of different ways to use this, but I'm going to be focusing on this big rectangle and these hearts for this one. And I got to go find out where this, I think this goes in that window one, but I'll find it. Okay, the master layouts are so fun because there's so much that you can do with them, and a set like this really affords you a lot of different ideas. But let's go with this one today. Now I'm going to start off with a piece of our brand new color. I know that's a little big and a little, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit here. I'm going to start out with a piece of our brand new, let me find it, Dusty Rose cardstock, because I want to make this either like a Valentine's Day card or it could be used for a wedding card, something like that. So I'm going to use pink tones for this, and I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4. And then I'm also going to cut this one at 5 1/2 so that I've got 3 pieces here. I've got my long piece for my card base, and then I've got these 2 for the outline of my heart and whatever else I want to use it for. Okay, then I'm going to do a little bit of scoring here. I'm going to score this at the 5.5 inch mark. I'm going to score that. And then I'm going to trim it down to about 3 inches. So this card base is actually going to be about, well, maybe a little bit bigger. We'll see. But I think about 3 inches. So let me get my paper cutter, my small paper cutter. And I'm going to cut this, I think the 3-inch mark, maybe a little bit bigger. Let's see here. I might want to go just a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll go to like the 4-inch mark and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to cut the end off of this, these 2 strips that can be used for other things. And this is going to end up ultimately being my card base. I didn't get a nice clean cut because my paper cutter is shot here. I need a new one. You know, these little paper cutters, they're great for travel, but after a while, they do kind of wear out. And I've had this one for years and years and years, and it might be time to replace it. Okay, so now I'm going to get my die cutting machine, and we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. But before we do that, I am going to cut out an image for a stamp. So the stamp set that I want to use today is Spring Blessings. This is an old stamp set that's been in our collection forever. I have used this many, many, many times in different cards that I've made, and I'll never stop loving it. It's one of those that I will cry if we have to retire it at some point because I just get so much pleasure out of it. And I know by now tons of you have this one. This was originally in a kit way back, probably like 8 years ago. It was in a kit. I think it was when we first moved to Milwaukee, and this was our first kit after we moved. And it had this one and Warm Spring Wishes. Spring Blessings and Warm Spring Wishes were together. And this bird is just, honestly, one of my absolute favorite stamps in our collection. It'll never retire. In fact, if it retires, I'm bringing the bird back as a single stamp because I'm not going to be able to live without it. All right, and I love the way this bird looks in browns, and I think browns look beautiful with pinks, but I'm going to go with black today because I want it to be just a little bit more bold. So I'm going to stamp that. This stamp just stamps so beautifully, too. It's so crisp. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Let me see if I can stamp it one more time. Get it a little darker. Hopefully I didn't move anything. We'll see. Yeah, look at that. That is truly one of my favorites. It's just so beautiful. So we're going to use that today. Let me find my tidy towel because I want to clean this stamp. There we go. And I think that is all the stamping I'm going to be doing today because I'm going to break out some of the old watercolor ephemera. We still have that in our store. It is a great type of thing for fast cards. And I actually keep mine in, I have a whole bunch of it in here. I keep mine in one of these chewing gum containers. This is just a big thing of chewing gum. And then I always, have 2 or 3 packs of the ephemera because I use it all the time, and I just pop it all in here. And this makes it very easy for me to pull out whenever I want. I do chew a lot of sugarless gum. It helps me stay away from sweets, which is good. And I find that, as soon as I'm done with them, I have another thing for my little die cut pieces or my ephemera. So okay, I know somebody had said to me one time, it was like, I don't know if it was maybe about 2 years ago, and I was showing them that I use my gum containers for storing ephemera and pre-cut pieces, and somebody said, I went to my Walgreens and they were all sold out. So I don't know if that had anything to do with me or not. Probably not, but it just seemed funny that all of a sudden they were sold out. Now I'm going to cut this out with the coordinating die. This has a full set of dies that coordinates with the Spring Blessing set. And so I'm using the bird die to cut out this bird. So let's get that placed where we want it. And then I think I'm going to use just a little piece of masking magic to tack it down. I've got a strip here that I can use. I'll just put that in place so it doesn't move. Now you can see I'm using the Intracut and I have the machine set on die cut, and I have it turned up just a little bit to make it just a hair tighter. And I am on my cutting mat here, and this is the platform. So you don't always have to do it upside down. As long as you're only cutting into the cutting mat, it doesn't really matter if the platform's on the bottom or on the top. Okay, so hopefully that cut out well. Let's take a peek. And there she is. That's so pretty. So I'm going to put that aside. And what I like about this is there's so much detail in this particular image that I don't feel like you need to color it. You can color it if you want, maybe a light blue or a little bit of pink in there, but I'm going to leave mine black and white. I like the contrast, and it feels like it'll make the card just a hair more vintage. So I'm just going to put these little pieces here because you can reuse the masking magic. Now I'm going to cut my my pieces here from Master Layouts 4. So I'm first going to cut my rectangle, and I will need a piece of white cardstock. Let's see if I have one close by here. I might have to just trim down a piece of this. Give me a second real quick. Okay. Oh, and I didn't cut it big enough, did I? Nope. Okay, that was my bad. Let me find another piece here in my scrap box. There's got to be pieces in my scrap box. Okay, here's one. So I'm going to lay that right on top. I've got this blade side up, and I'm going to lay it right on top, and then I'm going to put my cutting mat on top. And somebody was asking me in the group if it's okay if your cutting mat gets kind of beat up, and absolutely, that's going to happen because you're cutting into it, so don't worry about that. If you want, you could take it to the sink and you can scrub it a little bit with a toothbrush. If it starts to warp a little bit, it's very flexible. You could just flex it back into shape and it'll be straight again. All right. So there we go. There is my panel that I'm going to use for my card. Then I'm also going to need a heart. So I think this piece will just be fine for my heart, the one that I tossed a little while ago. And I'm going to lay this heart upside down, blade side up, and I'm going to lay this piece of white cardstock on top, and then I'm going to cut out the heart. It's kind of weird because I know you guys maybe are asking questions, and maybe I'm answering them in the group right now, but I always love to look at your comments, so these premieres are a little bit quiet. They are more in the dead space, Tom, that's for sure. Definitely a dead space kind of thing, right?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there is nothing wrong with it. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to cut a piece of the Dusty Rose. I've got this die. This is the shadow die, blade side up, and I'm going to lay the Dusty Rose on top, and then I'm going to cut that. Okay, I think we're looking good here. Oh, yeah. Now I'm going to do one more thing. I think the Dusty Rose will look good on the back. I'm going to leave it. I was going to do a white layer for the back, but I think I'll leave it Dusty Rose on the back, and I'll trim my white panel on the front. So you can see how nice they layer together. That's the perfect shadow layer. And I'll tell you, hearts are tricky. If a heart isn't designed to be a shadow layer for the heart before it, it's not going to nest properly. Nested hearts are tricky. I remember designing these and just doing my regular thing that I would do with a circle or an oval, and it wasn't working, and I realized that you really had to manipulate these dies to do this kind of thing. So it's a little trickier. Okay, so now I'm going to get my paper cutter again, because we're going to trim this down to fit on here. We're going to lay this on top. So there's a couple ways that you can do this depending on how you want it to look. I kind of like it to look like there's an even border around the outside. So it's kind of even here, and even here. So if you want to do that, you can just take a ruler and lay it right along the top there. And you can get a pencil or a pen, something like that, and just make like a light line so that you kind of know where you want to cut it off. And then we're going to cut that off right on that line. So let's give that my best shot here. I think that's good. So I cut on the line. You can see the pen is just right above that line. And that is going to allow me to bring this up to the top here. And that's going to create my card base. And it's a little square card. It's kind of squarish, but it's not going to stay square because we're going to turn this into an A2 card. Okay. Now let's see. So we're going to layer this on top of here, and we're just going to take it right up to that edge. So I'm going to do that with some of my tape. Okay. And this premiere today is going to be a little bit shorter than our regular lives, but that might work out for some of you that are joining us during your lunch hour and you really can't stay the whole time. At least you'll be able to see a finished card today. Okay, so there we go. I have that pretty much up to the top. If it's not perfect, this tape is forgiving. You can move things around a little bit until you put it down for the final time, and then you give it a little bit of time and it kind of melds together and becomes permanent. Okay, there we go. That looks pretty good. All right, now I'm going to grab an envelope out of my drawer. I'll be right back. Don't go away. This is not a great color envelope to match this, but it might not be too bad. I don't know where my white envelopes went. I had a whole bunch of envelopes, but I'm going to just use this to show you that this is going to become an A2 card and how it will fit into your card base. All right, now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to attach these two panels together. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. I feel like I'm kind of far away. And then we are going to lay those together. And this is going to be the top of this A2 card. All right. So it's going to kind of go up here like this, but we're going to make sure that it fits perfectly inside this card because we don't want it to be flapping around. We want it to be nice. Okay. Now we are going to make a greeting. So I'm going to need one more piece of white cardstock. This piece will probably work just fine. And let me grab a piece of paper for under here. Now I'm going to use some Dusty Rose ink because I want it to coordinate with the rest of my card here. And I'm going to do kind of a crisscross texture. So I'm going to kind of go down this way. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you can actually like go in the side there and get some lines in there so it's more defined. The lines are a little bit more defined if you have to flip it over to get to the end. You're not going to need that much, but it does help to have it all done so this way, wherever you place your die, it's still going to look good. All right, now we're going to go in the opposite direction, and we're going to do the same thing again. That. And then I'm going to add some more of those more defined lines in there. Now you don't have to do this texture. You could do anything you want. You could use alcohol ink background. You could do just any kind of textury background that you want to do. I think this would be cool with shaving cream. There's so many techniques that you could do with this, but you just want to get that crisscrossy pattern in there. The rubber band background would look really good. Okay, and then I have this die set here. This is called the Love Trio. And it has two different love dies. One is very scripty. Actually, it's got little pieces of cardstock in there from the last time that I used it. It's very scripty, and one is like a block letter style, and then it has the word you. And you can use this with or without the word you. And I think if you're making a Valentine's Day card or a wedding card, it's okay just to have love on the front. It doesn't have to say love you, because it might just be about love. So I'm going to just use the words love. Now I'm going to bring this back into the mix here, and I'm going to cut this using this love die. All right, let me find my plates. Where did I put them? Here they are. So I'm going to lay this down. This is my cutting mat, and I'm going to pop this right there, and then I'm going to put this on top, and I'm going to cut out the word love. Now this is not just going to cut out the word love, but it's going to cut out the negative as well, and it's going to give you a little plate. And that little plate can be very helpful because we're going to use it to position our letters. See what I mean? How it cuts the whole little plate out around the word love as well, and you're left with just a rectangle. Now this, if you wanted to, you could be cute and you could make a little button out of this so that it kind of coordinates with the word love, if you wanted to add a little bit more embellishment onto your card. All right, so I'm going to pull this off first. And this is going to be my guide to help me position my letters properly. And then I am going to poke my letters out, and you can see how cute they look in this little pattern. It's just a little bit more fun than just cutting the letters out of plain cardstock. It's a little bit interesting. And I think it's going to work really nicely with this dusty rose colored cardstock. You can see how nice that looks together. All right, now we're going to cut this scripty love out. I am going to need a piece of black cardstock, and I have one that I cut one out earlier, so I'm going to lay this down here and put my word love right on there. And I'm going to cut that out. You ever have sleeves that are too big and they keep falling down? That's what my sleeves are doing. They keep falling down, and it's fine when I'm crafting, but it's like when I'm doing dishes, and you know how you want to pull your sleeves up and they keep slipping? Yeah, that's one of my problems today. All right, and here is this very delicate little love word. Pull this out. It does help when you pop all the holes. There we go. Okay. And you can see it a lot better on white. See how cute and delicate that is? And this E does pop out as well. You just need to get your stick tool and pop it out. See that? There we go. Okay, I'll put that aside for now. Now I have all of my letters that I need to make my card. So now I'm going to show you how to position this. We're going to use these little pieces of masking magic to do this next part. So Tom.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
So do you happen to have a word of the day for everybody?
Time for word of the day.
It's word of the day time, yeah.
Okay, we need a song for that. Word of the day. Okay, so today's word of the day is a derivative of the word anesthesia, something that they use to put you to sleep for surgery and such. And that word is manesthesia. Manesthesia. And so that's anything that puts a dude to sleep. And there are many. Can you think of a few?
How about a heavy meal?
Yes.
Is that good manesthesia?
That is beautiful manesthesia. Very enjoyable manesthesia.
Yep.
Which I have enjoyed in the few surgeries that I've had. I really have enjoyed anesthesia. Anyway, that's another story.
That's something else to discuss with your therapist.
But so, right. Manesthesia, some other examples would be, let's see, you probably, this surprises you probably, but that show, The Housewives, any show, The Housewives.
Any housewives show, Real Housewives?
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
That's manesthesia.
that just is one of the just right to sleep.
Or waiting for me outside of a craft store.
Well, it depends, but yeah, I think for some people, a craft store might be
Manesthesia, but not
manesthesia.
anesthesia.
No,
Not for me. That wakes me up.
no. So,
That's
so yeah.
silly. That's very funny.
So
Manesthesia.
There are many more. I'm sure we can throw out there, but that's the word of the day: manesthesia. And
I love it.
fade to the dead space.
Okay, well, now that Tom has done his word of the day, we are going to turn this into an A2 card. So an A2 card measures 4¼ by 5½. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the bottom of this card down here at 5½. And I'm just going to tape it here so it doesn't move. And then I'm going to turn the card this way. And I'm going to position my heart so it butts up against the top here. And that's going to make this card an A2 size card. See that? So that's going to be able to fit in there really easily. So as long as you have this bottom here at the 5½ inch mark, you won't have any problem getting this card into the envelope. So we want to make sure that that's straight. And then we can see that it's about half of the heart that's going to be attached to the card base. So I will add some tape runner here to this half. What's going on here? There we go. Okay. I got some wax or something here on this piece of cardstock. That's weird. Yeah, see, it's working on that white cardstock. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe we'll just say that's better than horrible. And then we're going to position it so it's even side to side. And then we will adhere it to that card base. And then that is going to open like this. And when it's open, this isn't going to bend because of where the crease is in the card. And then you can write your greeting in here. Now, if you want, you could add a little square panel in here in white, or you could decorate the inside. But now you can see that this card is going to fit inside an A2 envelope perfectly. It's going to be nice and rigid because it's got everything that it needs to not have a floppy end. And then that fits perfectly in there. So I love these kind of cards that have kind of a unique layout like this, and using the Master Layouts 4 definitely is a great way to do this for Valentine's Day cards, wedding cards, or any cards of love. All right, now we're going to position the word love where we want it. And I think what I'm going to do is position it so that it works well with the stitching. You see what I mean? Let me zoom in just a little bit here so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm making it look even with the stitching. Like I don't want it up high here where it's even side to side, but there's a big gap in here. I want to kind of have it look more uniform. I just think it's going to give a little more balance to the greeting of this card. And then just to show you my idea, my bird is going to come down here like this. So the bird will kind of fill in this side a little bit. And then I'll have a floral coming down on the other side. So I hope that all makes sense. Now, in order to get these letters perfectly spaced, we're going to use this negative piece. And we're going to line it up so that it looks nice and straight. Some people like to use a ruler or a T-square. I like, if you have a die set that has this little piece that falls out, this really makes it easy. All right, so we've got that in place. That looks straight to you guys. Looks straight to me. And then I'm going to get a little bit of glue here, a little connect glue. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue just into the holes here. And then I'm going to pop the letter in to the hole. There we go. Same with the O. I want to just go around the perimeter here, like that. And then I'm going to pop the O in. That looks good.
Looks fun.
It is fun. It's like doing a puzzle. And I know a lot of crafters like to do puzzles. We're like puzzle people. We like that. I'm going to put just a tiny bit there. Pop that into place.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes. Again. And then here, here, and here. And then we'll drop the E in. Now, hopefully, this won't give me a hard time when I try to peel this part off. There we go. Be careful if you get a little glue. Oh, I guess it's holding down the wrong part there. There we go. So now that love is perfectly straight and it's centered. And you could use this again, you know, if you want to keep it, but you're going to end up making a new one every time. You can also use this with that little piece that fell out, and you can use this as a love plate too. So if you wanted to use that on your card, you could use that on a second card. And you can see how cute this is when you take the black one and you put that right on top. Isn't that adorable? So then if you have like stuff you want showing through, you can use the negative one. Or, like in this case, we can use the positive. And we're going to just put that little love right on top there to add that little pop of black. All right, so we'll save that for something else too. I've got so many saves. And then we're going to add this little bit of glue onto the back of this. Now this is really skinny, so we want to make sure that everything we want popped out is popped out. Looks good. All right. And then we're going to just dab the little glue dots on here, little dots of Connect glue. Okay. Then we're going to place this where we want it, right across this love. So it's like doubling up on the love. Twice as much love on this card. I love that. There we go. Isn't that fun? Okay. Now it's time to do our layout. So let's zoom out just a hair here. I feel like we're in kind of close. So I'm using the Watercolor Ephemera, which is the perfect match for Dusty Rose cardstock. And I have some of the different pieces here from that ephemera set. And then I am going to kind of do like a quick layout just to see. I kind of like the idea of the bird's tail just going over that love just a little bit. And maybe popping the bird up. And then here, we would have this flower here and this one here. We could cover that little branch so it looks like the branch is kind of coming from behind the flowers. Maybe we'll do this. We'll do that. And then we'll add this here. And then we'll do some leaves kind of cascading down to fill in this other part. And then maybe one over here like that. So I don't know, maybe we should lift the bird up just a little bit here. I really love that layout. It's so pretty, and I think we can add just a few little sequins up in here and down here to kind of balance it out a little bit. I think this would be a really, really pretty wedding card, but I also think it would be great for Valentine's Day. I know I've said that, but I love the layout so much, and I just love how the heart is the card, that it just bursting up at the top like that. All right, so let me get a couple of foam squares here. I've got these tiny ones and I've got the big ones. And I think I'll start by popping up the bird. So we'll pop the bird up. Maybe we'll put a small one up by his head. And then a small one down here. And we'll just let his tail kind of fly free. So that gives lots of dimension. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I do love the overlap, though, over the word love. I'm going to do that because I just like the way that looks. And I think a couple little sequins up here will work. So we're going to do that first. Just a little bit of an overlap. It's staticky in here today. So right about here. There we go. Okay, I'm deciding before I press it down for good. Now maybe I'll just bring it up a hair. I don't know. Yeah, I'll bring it up a hair. I feel, even though you're not here yet when I'm making this video, I feel like you're saying, no, put it up a little bit higher. So I'll put it up a little bit higher. All right, now the rest of these I'm going to adhere directly except for this flower. This one's going to pop up. So let's go ahead and tape these down. So let me get some tape here. Get this one taped right here. And this one over here. Should I pull this one down a little bit so you can see the edge of the heart? Yeah, I think I'll do that. And then I'll get this one like right there. And get it behind the bird a little bit. We won't cover up the V of the heart completely, so you can see that. And then I'm going to pop this up, and then these are going to slide underneath. So I definitely want this to be popped up to cover the end of this branch. And just one is going to be good, one foam square. That will be good right there. And then we'll lay these in underneath. Do this one here. And we'll have this over here like this. And then this one will come up off to the side a little bit. We want it up here. Yeah, that looks good. Bring it up there a little bit. Oh, wait, it does have to stay inside the card, though, or else it won't fit in the envelope. So I don't want it to overlap the outside. So we'll just do that. Okay. Now, I think we could do a couple different things. We do have some pearls that would be very pretty. And they are like a soft pink, like that. Let's see if I have a few of those. I should. I've got a whole tray of them here. I should be able to find something that will work. I really like the tinies mixed with the bigger ones, so I definitely need a tiny one.
That
big.
looks like the kind of card that is really worth spending time figuring out exactly where to put everything.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, it just seems like placement is it's a lot of parts.
Definitely. Definitely. So here's my idea with these pearls, but I'm not sure about the pearls because it's interesting how if your pinks don't match perfectly, That's pretty. If they don't match the rest of the pinks in the card, you know, sometimes it can be like, ee. It's kind of nice. I feel like a smaller one down here would be better. Let's take a look and see if we have a smaller one. I think this is a small one. See, but it's a different pink. Now, looking at those pinks, maybe we should look at some sequins too, because sequins, kind of hard to go wrong with sequins, and they always match whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the sequins just because I feel a little safer with the color match. The thing about disco ball sequins is they'll pick up whatever color you're working on. So if this pink was a little bit more peachy, it would pick it up. If it was a little bit more blue pink, it would pick it up. I just put some in my pearls, but that's okay. So I think I'm going to go with those sequins instead. I like the pearls. I just feel like I have to pick through the whole thing to find exactly the ones that I want, and we don't have time for that today. So let's just go with these. I left my thing out without tapping it down, so there we go. These sequins are amazing. If you don't have disco ball sequins, you got to get them because they work with everything. And we have the regular disco ball and the micro disco ball. And I think you can definitely find uses for both. It's just one of those little tiny embellishments that I think is worth, you know, if you're trying to reach an incentive or free shipping or something, it's a good little thing to add. Perfect color. All right, so there's my card, my finished card. And I like the way it sits up. I know that's a little hard to see, but I will take a high quality picture of this, and this will be shared in the Facebook group and on YouTube on the community tab so you can see the way it sits up. But I think that's so pretty, and it fits perfectly in that A2 envelope. So you don't have to worry about extra postage or anything like that or trying to find a special envelope for it. But it's a completely unique layout with that heart at the top. What do you think, Tom?
It is spectacular.
Yeah, you like it?
I love it. Love, love, love.
Oh, well, this was so much fun. This might come to you. Although if I was doing it for you, maybe I would do it. You like greens, right?
No, I think that's awesome.
You like that? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, and the black in there is just really nice. It's just easy to look at.
No. Well, I like it too, and I think it's one that you could definitely, switch this up by using the word friend or by, just using a big hello word. And then it can be for any kind of occasion. It doesn't have to be necessarily for something that would correlate to a love type of occasion. Although I would send my friends this, and I know they would be happy to receive it because I love my friends. All right, everybody. Well, this was so much fun today. I hope that you will give this layout a try. Now, if you don't have master layouts for, you can always do something similar with a big circle die at the top or an oval to kind of create that same kind of shape at the top. But if you want the perfect heart look, Master Layouts 4 is going to give you everything that you need plus a bunch of extra things that you'll be able to use on all kinds of card projects. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. We hope you enjoyed today's premiere, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Please share in our Facebook group. Tom and I will be back next Tuesday with another Stampin' Chat Live. Until then, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.